Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here reporting for Infowars.com. I am here with Jim Mars at an event that Tex Mars put on and just spoke. And Jim has his new book out. And we were just talking about hidden technology. And my old friend who even worked with me a few years, Raymond Teague, NASA engineer on the Apollo program, Skylab. Also, of course, on the space shuttle, you can just Google Apollo program and see Raymond there in the front line, one of the main guys, even though he'll try to talk himself down. And Raymond, you won't say a lot of this on tape, okay, and that's fine. You don't have to, but you said you'll talk about a little bit of this when you were at RCA separately with some of this stuff, but you were making the point, Jim, that, well, I mean, state what you just said. You don't believe anything until...
No, I just said I don't believe anything's true until the government's denied it.
You don't believe anything's true until the government's denied it.
Right.
And tell us what you were just telling me about what you saw at RCA.
We got received a company bulletin, just as all these companies send out usually a monthly newsletter or something. I got one from RCA headquarters, and it said that they had, one of their experimenters had an object he was flying around that had an anti-gravity drive. In other words, it was self-levitating and could be moved around. And I thought, well, why are we doing this? Why are we messing with all these rockets when we could do this? So I called up headquarters, and first they said, well, it's not true. The experiment didn't really work. And then they said the document didn't even exist. And I said, well, I got it right in my hands here.
So first they said it wasn't accurate.
Yeah.
Then they said, no, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then they said it didn't
And that's
exist.
when you know your Bilderberg doesn't exist, NSA doesn't exist, cancer viruses and the vaccines don't exist,
so
fluoride lowering your IQ doesn't exist.
And I already knew that Noah Tesla had flown a platform around in the very early 1900s, like 1904.
Yeah, people had seen it, yeah.
And I don't believe that we've gone backwards in technology, and the Russians grabbed everything they could of that technology, and I assume that our government grabbed some of it or all of it.
What was the big telltale sign, though? You talked about this on the radio when they ordered the Saturn rocket plans destroyed and the extra rockets.
I don't know the details. No, they didn't destroy the extra. They didn't destroy what was already been built, but they fixed it to where they really couldn't build any more without it being so costly.
What did they do?
They destroyed the tooling for the Saturn V, and they destroyed the drawings. Well, this is total treason and makes no logical sense at all.
And what did they say at NASA when they did that? What was the reason?
The employees there, we never got a reason. It was just announced that it had been done. And they knew, all the NASA employees, the government employees knew that, well, I'm going to retire here before they ever build anything else.
Well, Raymond, I've only seen it on television. It's famous that McNamara ordered it destroyed, you know, the plans and stuff. I heard they got rid of some of the rockets too, but it saved a few they used.
Well, the extras they've got, you know, they are in museums. One is at Johnson Space Center, and there's another one at Huntsville, Alabama. And
I've seen it down in Houston. It's pretty neat.
But you know, there's 3 or 4 that are on display. I don't know.
Jim, what do you make of this?
Well, for one thing, I think it's amazing that the things you can learn from employee newsletters and from year-end reports, corporate reports and things that never make the news. A good example is the newspaper that I once worked for, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. In the employee newsletter, right after Reagan got elected, they had a big article. They were so proud that Reagan had appointed William Casey as head of the CIA. And William Casey was the majority stockholder, the guy that controlled the company that owned the Star-Telegram. So my newspaper was controlled and owned by the head of the CIA, and that was in the employee newsletter, but it never made the newspaper, and nobody ever knew that that was the case. And of course, then when they destroy the rockets, then that set our space program back, what, 2 decades or more?
Well, no, we haven't recovered yet.
Never has.
We have to use the Russian heavy lifters. What do they call them? Soyuz?
Right.
Or that's the outer space
is the
pod.
capsule.
That's the capsule.
But we use the Russian heavy lift vehicles to lift the larger payloads and satellites, because we don't have anything that'll do that. The shuttle will not pick up The shuttle is limited.
That's another question. How could the Germans in the 30s come up with the rocket systems the Russians and the U.S. still have to use now? I mean, who believes any of this? I mean,
incredible. Well, see, this is the globalist, okay, who they created communism, they funded communism, they run Wall Street, they run the city of London, and this is how they get their space program without us knowing what's going on. The Russians are building the heavy lift rockets, we're building the guidance systems, and so we're trying.
It's all compartmentalization.
It's all compartmentalized, but then when you can, at the top, when you can put it together, you've got a space program.
Exactly, and that's the plan of globalism. Never let one country be independent. By the way, people never seem to think, what are they in? We're at the Hilton here outside the old Bergstrom Air Force Base, and this is the former SAC base built in the 60s, and it's well known there's underground bases that connect out to bring the nukes to the planes under this, and they go out to Fort Hood, and I know people that worked on building it, but that's just a conspiracy theorist. The average viewer probably doesn't even believe me that this Hilton is a former SAC base, but that's on record.
Well, it's all conspiracy theory until it happens to you.
Anything else, Raymond?
Oh, that'll be enough.
Just tell us about the astronauts. All right, folks. Alex Jones here for Infowars.com. I'll be live on the radio tomorrow with the Sunday show, and he's going to be in there in the second hour. So 4 to 6 tomorrow Central, Infowars.com. And we will have best-selling author Jim Mars with us. So spread the word and follow us at Twitter at Real Alex Jones.